Today we're going to talk about numeric expressions, and it's kind of easy, but at the same time it's going to get us ready to kind of think about algebra problems and solving for unknowns. So it's a good place to start. So we're going to start with what a numeric expression is, okay? So an expression, if you think of an expression, like you can have an expression on your face or you can have an expression that you say. So if you give an expression of something, that's kind of how you show something. So this is kind of how we're going to show something with numbers. All right? And numeric, I actually already gave that away. Numeric has to do with numbers. So we're going to show something with numbers. It's going to be an expression with numbers. And you can think of it kind of as a set of directions. A numeric expression uses numbers and operations to kind of give instructions, but it doesn't solve the problem, okay? So it uses numbers and operations, but it has no equal sign. It's kind of like the instructions for the problem, but it's not being solved. This is how you would do it if you were to solve it. So for example, 4 plus 5 is a numeric expression. 27 divided by 3 is a numeric expression. 14 minus 7 is a numeric expression. 12 times 6 is a numeric expression. Okay? Numbers, operation, numbers, operation, numbers, operation, numbers, operation. Okay? And it doesn't just have to be two numbers. That is not a prerequisite for being a numeric expression. Be 4 plus 6 plus 7 plus 9. And you can also mix up your operations, which is where order of operations comes in that we've been learning about the past couple days. But we're not going to quite go there yet because then that would involve having multiple pieces to your instructions. And today we're just going to talk about simple numeric instructions. And just so that we know you have a numeric expression, if it has an equal sign, so if it was 4 plus 5 equals 9, this would be an equation. Okay? And if you look at equation, it has part of the word equal in it, and an equation has an equal sign. So that's kind of a way to help you remember it. So a numeric expression does not have to be solved yet. It is the instructions on how to solve something. And then an equation gives you the equal sign in the solution. Okay? So let's look at a couple how to figure out what a numeric expression is from a word problem, because this is kind of the important thing. If you come across a situation and you have to figure something out, what is the operation you use to figure that out? Basically what you're doing in your head is you are figuring out the numeric expression. Okay? So Jose bought 12 bottles of water at $2 each. Now, normally it would say how many bottles does he have. We're assuming that that's going to be the question, but we don't need to solve it. We just need to write what the expression would be. So we've got two numbers here. He's got 12 bottles of water at $2 each. So we got to think to ourselves, well, what would I be looking for? I would probably be would want to know the total amount of money. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say, well, 12 bought $2 each. So it's going to be the same amount of money for each bottle. So that means that I'm going to have the same amount 12 times. So I'm going to have 12 water bottles times $2 each. So that would be the numeric expression for that problem. Okay? Isabel shared 12 party favors equally among 6 friends. So we have 12 party favors. We have 6 friends. Now what is she doing with them? She is shared equally. Okay, so if we're sharing something equally, that means we're going to be dividing. Now, this is where it's going to get tricky, is when you're trying to work out division problems. Okay, and it's actually more trickier, if that's even a word, more trickier when you're trying to write the division problem. You got to make sure the language is correct, and you got to make sure you're splitting the correct thing. So are we splitting the friends into groups of 12? Or the party favors into groups of 6? Well, what is she sharing? She's sharing the party favor. So the 12 is going to go first and the 6 is going to go after. This is a really important skill, and don't think that just because the 12 is bigger, it's always going to go first, because eventually we're going to learn at times about times when the smaller number goes first when we're dividing. So it's actually really important to pay attention to the language and what the thing is that's being shared, and not always assume that it's the bigger number, because later on it's not going to always be the bigger number. So what I want you to do before we meet together in class is I just want you to take a look at this problem here and see if you can write a numeric expression for it. So you can go ahead and pause this and come to your centers with a numeric expression that represents this problem.